there was a joke like if James got any more laid back, he'd be.
I'd fall over. I was just about to say that. I stole it. People do say to me, if I was any more laid back, I'd fall over.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners.
Oh, hello.
Hello, hello. We have an exciting couple today.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, the Bachelor component of this couple, I feel like I know, even though we've never actually met. But I feel like she's a kindred spirit. I've always sort of felt that way about her. We are joined today by Katie Morton and her boyfriend, her British beau, James Rowe. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
You guys, to me, are like the poster children of the pandemic long-distance relationship. And obviously, we will be getting into that today. But just so you know, today is all about your relationship. And we want you to be as long-winded as you desire. We just want to know the ins and outs of your relationship and how you make it work, how you have made it work, and learn how
you tick.
How you tick.
That's where that was going.
So we're going to start nice and easy from the very beginning. And I personally am dying to know this because I know some details, but I don't think I know all of them. Mm-hmm. Could you describe how you met?
James, over to you.
Yeah.
Okay. We can share this story, but I'd love to hear it from him as well.
Really? So probably about 2 years ago, me and two of my friends were on holiday in LA. And we don't skate, but we were skating at the time, skateboarding. Just because we was in LA and we thought it was a cool thing to do because everyone seemed to be skateboarding. So we were skating in Sunset Boulevard, and I saw Katie and your friend Hannah
Hannah G.
Walking past us, and I just thought I've got to go and speak to them because I saw Katie and I thought she looked gorgeous. So I went and asked them if we could speak to each other. Had a little chat. We didn't really do too much since then, did we? We sort of spoke on Instagram that day, but then didn't really speak again until probably about, 9, 10 months ago?
Yeah, about 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Ish.
Can I carry on?
Yeah. Okay, so literally the day he met me was the day after I had filmed my Paradise intro. So amazing. I was not in the market in my head. Like I was on the market, but I wasn't in the market because I was like, well, I just filmed my Paradise intro, random British guy skateboards up to me. This seems nice. Here's my Instagram. Like,
totally.
Give me a follow.
Yeah.
And then we did say like, hey, how was your day? And then it was like, great, thanks, you. And that was literally it. And then 2 weeks later, I went off to Paradise. The story unfolds. So much happens. We loop back around. I'm back to single. Months go by. October-ish hits, or end of September hits, and he thinks he sees me on a dating app that's in London. So he reaches out to me saying, oh, if you're in London, I'd love to grab dinner. And I was in fact not in London. And
so like, it was not you.
It couldn't have been, but I thought it looked like.
No, it could have been because it was on a dating app that I'm on.
Yeah, but it said London.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he just
have
thought
a
it
doppelganger out there.
We didn't connect on the dating app, so I had to send her a message on Instagram again.
Yeah.
So interesting. So the dating app though did spark, James, the memory and it was the impetus for you sliding back into the DMs, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So then he asked me to dinner in London, and then I was like, can't make it. so I actually that day had got the We're Not Really Strangers Honest Dating expansion pack. So I don't know if you played We're Not Really Strangers. I think I'm a poster child for this game at this point. But it's a game to get to know people. And it has 3 levels: perception, connection, and reflection. And I was super excited about this game. So he actually ended up asking me to do a FaceTime date. I really liked this about him. He was like, 5 p.m. tomorrow, FaceTime date. And I was like, whoa. okay, yeah, of course. And then I was extra excited because I was like, this guy doesn't even know what's coming. We're about to play a game. And we did play that game. We played for 6 hours.
Oh my God.
And
Whoa.
we didn't even realize. I've never been on FaceTime for that long, for sure. Still haven't. I think that was the only time I've ever been on FaceTime for so long. And it was 6 hours, but it felt like no time had gone by.
Wow.
That's the best feeling.
Kind of how it started.
I love that story.
It's a great story. It actually has a little bit of a wrinkle that we experienced, which is we didn't meet via a dating app, but we met as a result of dating apps existing.
Kind of. I feel like you guys have a bit of everything. You have the serendipity of just meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You have today's regular dating app, which is just Instagram DMs. And you have the sort of middle ground of the actual dating app.
Right.
There's some girl in London who looks like you, who you have to thank, apparently.
Who I have to thank for James thinking it was potentially me. He was like, I just saw you on a dating app. And it's like, was it? But I'm glad.
Of course. What a sweet story. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it kind of make you feel very lucky, but also a little sick?
It does. I feel lucky.
It feels crazy to me that, like,
Sorry.
if like you said, serendipity moment, like if for some reason we didn't go skating on that day, or
I didn't go to dinner at Harriet's rooftop right next to the Mondrian, because I'll tell you what, I was really keen on ordering room service. I was this close.
We always talk on this podcast about just go out, do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was really thinking, I remember Hannah was like, my feet are so cold. It was like cold or something. It felt cold, even though it was May. It was like May gray or something. It felt kind of cold. We're like, we did not dress appropriately for this, but we still made ourselves go out because we're like, this rooftop's going to be pretty. It's literally a 50-foot walk from the hotel to the restaurant. So in that little moment, James passed me and then came back and talked to me.
Isn't it incredible?
I mean, I know, I'm sorry. Like, I know that it feels so serendipitous, but it also, because Andy and I we met cute as well. Like, we just happened to sit next to each other. And it's amazing how someone you just didn't know exist comes into your orbit and suddenly you're continuing through life together.
Yeah.
I think the same thing all the time. I think on one of my first dates, actual dates in London with him, I was staring from this roof, like a really high up breakfast spot. And I looked down and I was like, isn't it crazy that one of those people down there is like on a train or on a subway or doing something like walking around or whatever, and someone's going to look up and probably meet their person today. Mm-hmm. Randomly on some type of train or something. Mm-hmm. And it's going to happen. But if someone doesn't look up, they could literally miss their person, potentially.
Yeah. How many people have missed their person because they're on their phone looking at Instagram?
Yeah,
literally.
That's a scary thought.
It is. Well, and James, I mean, it's pretty impressive that you went up to her, because we personally feel this is a dying art.
Yeah.
I agree.
The approach, the cold approach.
It is a dying art. A very, very, the British, I think, are like a little bit ahead of the Americans. Are gone. They have nothing left.
It never happened.
No game left.
No game left. They're completely risk averse.
Yeah. There's still some decency in the UK as far as a man approaching a woman, but here it's dead.
I think people maybe are too scared to get turned down. I don't know.
Now you're giving us too much credit.
I don't know if people are actually scared to get turned down. I think they're just maybe more absorbed in whatever they're doing.
I thought he said they're scared of getting tied down. I was like, that's a weird thing to say. It's like, I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead, but interesting.
Maybe a little bit of everything.
Maybe subconsciously.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a vulnerability about going up to someone, obviously, but there's also an art to it. And I think that art has sadly died in the States.
This actually happened before the pandemic, but I was not out with you. I was not wearing my ring, and a guy stopped me on the street to sort of chat me up. And I was like, I'm married, but I just want to tell you, great job. You should keep doing this. I was like so pumping him up, and he was like, thanks.
The most ambivalent reaction to praise ever, probably. He's like, yeah.
But kudos, James. That's very impressive.
Yeah, that is good.
And it paid off.
Very much.
So what were your first impressions of one another, and how have those changed, if at all?
It was very short and sweet when we first met because obviously we didn't really spend that long chatting on the middle of the street. So it's probably only 10 minutes, if that, 5 minutes, maybe.
Not even, yeah, 5.
Not even that. So obviously we didn't have a great chance to judge each other like personality-wise, did we?
But I thought he was bold, but not bold in the way that it was a turnoff. It was like not a very like, he wasn't like, excuse me, I need to chat. It was like very like, can I have an
English accent?
I may have a chat. Or like, can I have a chat? And it's like, you may have a chat. You absolutely can have a chat. It was like the way it was asked, I think. And then he was just he was very charismatic. Like, you know, sometimes people you just like click with. He was very charismatic, but I didn't think anything of it really because I was in a completely different zone. But I do remember being like having no problem giving him like my Instagram or like my information. Usually I feel like I don't really even give out Instagram in general if it was a guy, because sometimes I'm just like, I
know what you mean. It like skews the perception of each other, or of you rather.
Sure, yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, phone number is anonymous. You don't know anything with a phone number.
That's true. But that's another dying art.
It's crazy. If I went out now, like if I was out in the market, I would always go phone number and people would think I was a weirdo. Apparently that's not the thing you do ever anymore.
They probably think it was a bit too direct or a bit too...
Yeah.
Everyone goes via Instagram now, don't they?
It's wild.
Well, he also has WhatsApp. Like we communicate. We didn't do phone numbers.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a phone number. That's pretty much.
Yeah. I didn't have WhatsApp. That's why we did Instagram.
Got it.
That's how that happened. But I think first impression was he was charismatic, bold, and he had really pretty eyes.
I mean, you're a good judge of pretty eyes.
Coming from the prettiest eyes of all.
The prettiest eyes in the world. The fairest of them all.
I thought, yeah.
She's famous for those eyes. Okay, it's James' turn now.
Your first impression on me. I guess did we already hear your
I guess when we met back up for the first time properly, where we could actually spend time with each other rather than standing in the middle of the street. My first impressions were probably that she was a really, really nice, genuine, warm person, which is something that I look for. Someone that's sort of like just friendly and kind from the heart, just a sort of a real, true person, which I find is quite hard to find these days, to be honest.
Yeah. I love that answer.
It's a good answer. He thought about it too.
Yeah, I love that he
just blurt out the obvious.
He did not blurt anything out.
Don't you find, Katie, I guess it's for you, but don't you find it disarming when a British man approaches you? I would give, if anyone British approaches me, I just give my wallet. It's just anything they want. It's amazing. I don't know if that's an American thing. Do they in England? Where's your accent from, James? Is it what part of?
Well, we're from Oxford originally.
Okay, so it's kind of like a posh-ish accent, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you guys have the same thing with Americans? Like when you hear an American accent, does people feel the same way, or is it the opposite?
I doubt it.
If I'm in England and I hear an American accent, it stands out quite a lot, and I guess it's quite attractive to.
It is attractive. Okay, so maybe it's the same thing. I've heard that too
really?
from other Brits.
I'm floored by this. I didn't realize that the appeal was symbiotic.
Yeah, I've heard it, and I was surprised as well when I heard that. I was like, really?
I was also shocked. When I was there, sometimes they would repeat things I would say, and I was like, are you making fun of me? Because I know we probably are just butchering this. And they were like, no, it's so good. Like I think I said, shoot. And they were like, shoot. And so they all started saying shoot all the time. It was like a bunch of boys going, shoot, uh-oh, shoot.
Okay, so have those first impressions changed or just blossomed, or now that you have been together for a while?
No, he's still charismatic and fun. It's changed in the way that I know him more. Obviously, you get to know the person more. So I see the why behind how he is, as opposed to the mystery, I guess, of it. But he's even funnier than I could have imagined, though. He's very funny to me. He makes me literally fall to the floor laughing. And I'm like, bonus. That's a bonus. That's amazing.
It's coming from a comedian.
Oh.
She's very funny too. know if you guys know, but she is hilarious.
I feel like I have an idea, but I don't know for like in
I don't
person.
think they really share as much.
I don't think anyone, like, she has a lot of followers on Instagram and stuff, but I don't think they all get to see who she truly is. She tries to give that off, but I guess it's hard to show everyone on Instagram how funny you are. Like, everyone around her knows how funny they are. Your best friends do, and everyone tells you that you're so funny and you need to be doing something, making people laugh all the time.
Thanks.
Oh, that's cute.
So bonus for both of you guys.
So James, would you say impressions that have changed her funniness?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. She wasn't that funny the first time I met her.
Oh, okay.
I'm only joking. But no, she has, obviously, as you get comfortable around someone, you can become funny, I think. Because you let your guard down and you are who you are, I think.
Yes.
And that's a good test of compatibility, is whether or not you can let it down enough to be funny.
And if you get each other's humor, also another
Yes.
good test of compatibility.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
I
think that's huge.
Are you guys dry wit, or is it more of like a slapstick, or what are we talking about?
Dry wit.
Dry. Good.
I would say.
The best.
Like, I remember the first time I ever recognized that he was funny. Sometimes he does full on dad jokes, and sometimes it's almost goes over my head. He's just funny in different ways. But the first time I realized, oh gosh, it's going to make me laugh, is we walked in, and of course everything's a little bit funnier in a British accent.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked into his bedroom, and he had clothes like that he had put on his bed that he wanted them to be put away. And just in general, he was going to put them away. But we left for a few hours, came back, and he goes, well, gosh, you guys, you couldn't have picked yourselves up. He was talking to the clothes saying, like, you couldn't have picked yourselves up while we were gone. Like, why haven't you guys done something about this whole
But
mess?
that's properly ironic dad humor. It's funny because it's meta funny. I like doing that.
Yeah. It was literally like the biggest dad joke, but he was being so serious and talking to the clothes. And I just looked at him, realized he wasn't looking to me to see if I thought it was funny. He was legit just serious to the clothes.
Oh, that's tremendous.
I fell to the floor laughing.
That's great.
That's pretty cute. Okay. How would you say the two of you complement each other?
I get like high strung, or I get pretty anxious, or maybe just overwhelmed. That's just always been a part of my personality. And he is so laid back. I think one time there was a joke, like, if James got any more laid back, he'd be...
I'd fall over. I was just about to say that. I stole it. People do say to me, if I was any more laid back, I'd fall over. I think that compliments you. And Katie's sort of like, I've always been driven and hardworking, but I think Katie's drive and hard work and sort of focus to always be working and grafting. Grafting's a word we use for working hard. I think that helps me too, because I am quite chilled and laid back. So he definitely compliments me in that regard. And his ability to take a step back. I will get overwhelmed by the details, and sometimes the details ultimately just don't matter that much. Mm-hmm. And he will just be sitting there so chilled, like that. He's like, what do you have to do? I'm like, this, and this. And he's like, and does it even matter? And I'm like, no. So then he's like, so let's go to the beach. And so I'm like, okay, fine. Oh, and so he's like, you can do it later, and it'll take you 10 minutes if you just focus. I'm like, okay. Well, what about the other day? We were in San Diego, and we were there for the weekend, and it was a Sunday. We either had to get back, or we had a couple of friends there that wanted to hang out.
They wanted to go show us these beautiful cliffs.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't know how beautiful they were until we got there, but Katie was like, well, we've got some clothes we need to fold up and put away when we get home. And I was like, come on, just relax. Like, we need to go to the cliffs and see the view.
I was like, we have to get home. We have to fold the clothes. They're in a basket.
And then afterwards we had to laugh about it, didn't we?
Yeah, he was like, come on, we just have to see the cliffs. And I went and saw the cliffs, and my jaw was to the floor, and I was thinking, like, I was about to miss these cliffs for folding clothes. And I sat in the car, and I just out loud said, you guys, I was going to miss these clips for folding the clothes. For who? For what? Like, why was I going to do these things? Like, push it back to later. We just experienced something so beautiful. And I was so thankful that he was like,
And the clothes are still on the floor.
Yeah, they didn't fold themselves, right?
There's a recurring theme about clothes in this house needing to be put away.
Yes. It sounds like Katie, you have a very strong clothing folding game, and James, you do not.
no, now I'm over here with the clothes still in the basket. So I'm actually getting I'm getting a lot better about letting it go, which is kind of nice because I think I used to feel by chores.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until he came
That's a real
around.
gift. He's given you a gift. It's very important.
Yeah.
Life will pass you by if you just spend all your time doing mundane chores.
Yeah. We're finding a good balance of things, which has been so nice. Because I'm like, how much other stuff have I missed out on by saying no? Because I might need to go home and fold some clothes.
That's good.
So that's been nice.
I love that. That's a great sort of metaphor for life right there.
It really is.
Yeah. Stop and smell the roses, as they say.
Get a good whiff.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ways in which you complement each other, would you say that you were specifically looking for those traits when you were looking?
I probably personally didn't think that I needed those traits
Yeah.
for someone that I'm looking for. So it's probably more of a blessing for me finding someone with those traits and then realizing that that's what I need in my life.
And I would say the same thing because I was thinking I needed someone that worked even harder because I thought I didn't work hard enough. And then when I found James, I was like, wow, I can breathe. And so it was just really nice. And it's something I didn't know I needed.
I'm getting such a wonderful Zen vibe from the two of you. And it just it made me take a deep breath. Just for myself. That's just, I love
Yeah,
them.
you guys should do an ASMR video.
An ASMR video?
Yeah.
Isn't that where you like crack Cheetos on the camera?
That too.
I guess.
Okay. What is different about this partnership that makes it successful compared to past ones?
Ooh. James.
Do you want me to answer that one?
Over to you, James.
I've actually only had one past relationship.
One actual committed relationship.
Yeah. But without diving into that too much, this relationship just works for me. Like, it feels good. It makes me feel good as a person. Like, I'd say Katie probably brings out the better sides of me. And yeah, it just feels good. I feel happy. We're always making each other laugh, which is quite an important thing, I feel, for myself. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the experiences that we're building together and the memories we're creating.
Oh my God.
You guys are too sweet.
That was a lovely answer. All right, Katie, you're up.
Compared to past relationships? Okay, so as everyone saw, I did have a past relationship that wasn't as, it was a completely different experience to this one. And in my past relationships as a whole, I think there was always something missing. And this is a difficult question. Not difficult. It's difficult for me to articulate, I think. This one is just makes so much more sense and also makes me feel so much more respected. And I think I never realized that I was settling in past relationships until I got into this one. So that's been such an eye-opener for me because I look back on past relationships and I needed to be in them because I needed to learn a few things. I needed to learn the things I didn't want. I think that was important because I think as I learned in past relationships, I would date and know exactly like, oh, that's not going to be something that I want. That's not going to be something that I want. And then my last relationship before this, I learned a multitude of things I didn't want. And like, it made me also sit back and just think to myself, like, ooh, like we're going to maybe have to do some inner work. And then James came along and I was like, I don't need to just work on all, I mean, obviously inner work is always good, but I was like, you just got to find someone that makes sense to you.
Mhm.
Just find someone that fits you, not try and fit a puzzle piece that doesn't fit.
Yep.
Don't stress about fitting a piece that doesn't actually belong there.
I really love that sentiment because I think a lot of women especially go into this mode of like, oh, it hasn't worked and therefore it must be me. And like, I agree, the inner work is always good, but also,
Yeah.
when it's right, it's right. And you often don't know what right looks like until you know what wrong looks like.
Right. And I think before my most recent last relationship, I actually had great guys I dated, really great guys. And so I always thought it was me but it was really just timing. Like I would be the one to break up with people because I wanted to either live somewhere else and they didn't want to, or like do something else, or just changes of life. And then I almost needed to be humbled in one that was the absolute wrong one for me. So I knew what I wasn't looking for. And that was kind of like an odd blessing in disguise.
What a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think one of the main points of dating is to figure out what you don't want.
Oh, it's to screw up as many times as possible.
Yeah. Get all your screw ups out early.
You just keep learning. Like there's no faster, harder education than having a bad relationship.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
It's like university 101.
Especially
Bad relationship university.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people always say, and we talk about this a lot, people always say that, relationships are work. Like maybe having kids is work, being married for 30 years might be a little work, but relationships should not be work. If you're working hard in like the first couple of years of a relationship, there's something wrong.
Yeah, just to communicate and understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be easy street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's crazy because you just don't know what can happen until it happens, and then you're like, oh, tight. This is how it's supposed to be. Okay.
Right.
Thanks, everybody. I read all the quotes on Pinterest. I was waiting for this moment, and yeah, it has been easy street.
Yep. And
Quotes on Pinterest.
I
didn't get the laugh it deserved.
I know, you're right.
Hey,
you're right.
You're distracted.
Sorry. No, because I honestly was thinking about James's answer to this question, and I was thinking that it was also wonderful. I mean, those were both really great questions or great answers, but the whole make you feel good. It's deceptively simple. You don't always get that.
Yeah.
You don't always get it with friendships, romantic relationships, family members. And there's something about just sort of getting older and realizing just the value of that.
Yeah, because we often either our relationships are forced upon us, as in family, or we settle for our relationships with friends and lovers and romantic, whatever you want to call it. But you have to really mature and experience life to a point where you can actually say, I actually want this, and everything about this is what I want, not what I just sort of take the path of least resistance to choose or that has been put upon me. And that's where you really achieve I think peace with yourself, when you surround yourself with people that you have chosen 100% because they are your people.
Yeah. Yeah. James, I relate to your answer actually just from a platonic standpoint, like with friendships. It took me a while to get to the point where I made that choice to be with people who made me feel good. And it sounds silly.
No.
But it's actually harder to find and identify, I think, than you would think.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I know what the answer is going to be to this. You guys have the most obvious answer in the world to this question.
Uh-oh.
But what was an early hurdle in your relationship? I feel like you're still in it.
The long distance, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we almost didn't make it a hurdle.
Not really.
I was the person that quarantined for 12 weeks by myself, and then I got a little wine drunk and booked a flight to London. not to make the pandemic anything funny, but I did take the chance. Luckily for me, there were only 10 people on a flight with 3 rows in it.
Nice.
yeah, I laid down in the middle. I had so many aisles to myself. I could have run in that plane like Home Alone too. But I think that was almost like not a hurdle at first because we just did it, and then I got stuck there for a month because the flights kept getting canceled because there wasn't enough people to come back.
The hurdle was trying to get home.
You just couldn't get away from him fast enough.
Was trying to leave, but yeah, that was the biggest hurdle was coming back. That was it. When I came back,
that was horrible. Yeah,
that was horrible. Yeah, I came back. We weren't officially dating yet, but I had just spent a month in London. And he takes it so seriously, as he should. So do I. But I was also like, I already know. I was the I already know person, but I'm just gonna let it flow. And he just like was waiting, but we weren't officially dating yet. I came back from London, and I'm like, so it wasn't a question mark, but I felt like, is it a question mark? Is he questioning it? I don't understand. When do I go back? It was that how long until I go back? How long until we see each other? Is it going to be known that we're definitely going to be together? It was the big question marks after the first visit. Mm-hmm. And then also the lockdown started to get tighter in London. So it was like, really, when are we going to see each other? How serious is this? And all of that. That was probably the hardest part to get through, because then but in all honesty, that was the best thing that could have happened to us, because we were forced to learn to communicate.
Yeah.
On the phone, even with an 8-hour time difference, we were forced to communicate.
Yeah.
I would be like, we would have to talk. Like I'd have to wake up at like 6 a.m. and it would be like 2 p.m. for him. And we'd have to like discuss what's going to happen or what's going down or like what's in the news, what's opened up, what's closed down.
Wow.
So I think it really forced us at first to communicate way better than I probably could have imagined.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We talk about anything and everything at this point, which is rightfully so.
That's tough. Katie, you did an Instagram post that I thought was pretty powerful, where you were just like speaking to other people who have been in long distance relationships, especially ones where you're on different continents over this past year and a half. And it's been tough. I mean, It's one thing to postpone a wedding. Obviously, that's very difficult and heart-wrenching, but you know that wedding will come. But like the entire trajectory of a relationship can be completely changed by whether or not you get to see each other. And a long distance relationship is different. You know, if you live in the same place, then it's different. It just is.
I will say that I had some, I don't know what the word is, but I felt a lot of like ease from this Facebook group, which I've never joined a Facebook group, by the way, until this moment. And it's called Love Is Not Tourism, Couples Separated by Travel Ban. There are 16,000 people in this group. And they were all couples, international couples, that would post like the news articles or try and get the government to speak about it or try and get the government to like use people as an exception so you wouldn't have to be married to go see your loved ones. And like, because people weren't able to see like their like ex-husbands who had their kids or like whatever the case may be, people were trying. So people were posting all these rules. And because of that group, I was able to like follow it and learn all of the rules so that I was prepared. We were prepared when it came to actually getting to see each other the next time, because there were so many rules. We printed out, each of us had a folder when we traveled this past time, because we had to have all these rules and all the paperwork. Wow. Like the order for us to see.
Intense.
Did you guys ever think about just forget it? This is too hard. Did you ever? No, I mean.
No, it sounds funny. I shouldn't laugh, but it's true. I mean, 8-hour time difference during a pandemic.
Yeah. It's a lot to deal with.
It is a lot.
I did think a few times, not like I'm over it, but I was like, why did I get myself in this situation? I would like fall for a guy who this is difficult. But the thing was, it wasn't difficult. The situation was difficult.
Logistics.
Like, that makes me feel better about everything, because this isn't difficult. The logistics are difficult. If we can get through the logistics, we can get through it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's worth fighting for.
And I like that you touch on that actually, because it does bring about another conversation about whether or not logistics should be a deal breaker alone, you know? I don't know if there is like a hard set of like correct or incorrect answers to that. It's just for some people, I think they are.
But the thing is,
if it's too inconvenient, I'm not going to do it.
If I believe that there's never too big an inconvenience to break up true love. You will figure out a way to make it work.
Oh, Andy. It's so romantic
I'm a
of
hopeless romantic.
That was really romantic.
I agree.
I mean, you know.
Now we're going to get to Andy's favorite question of every Love Fest. Oh, did this come sooner than you were expecting?
Yeah, that came out of the blue. I wasn't ready for it. How do you guys fight?
That's a very important question. As I heard from one professor, it's not how often you fight, it's how you fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
But if you do fight every like 5 minutes, it's also a problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
But more importantly, how you fight.
Yeah, more important.
So we get our gloves on. We don't really fight, to be honest. But if we do have
if we
some
do, it
sort
usually
of,
ends up in laughter.
Wow, that's strong fighting style.
Seriously. Although a lot of our fights do that too.
Yeah, I just end up making fun of you in the end.
And then I often find what you're laughing at me about funny.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of how it happens. He ends up being like, basically, whatever I'm saying is kind of probably ridiculous. There, okay, sorry I scared you. What I'm saying is, I don't know, not always ridiculous, but sometimes he makes fun of something I say, and then I end up thinking he's right.
it's a tough question, really. We don't really
these guys don't fight.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
Bickers.
But I can't remember what they're overall.
Okay, this is now I'm gonna have to like hold your guys' hands because apparently you can't even think of a single fight. I want you to now think of an actual fight. We've never had to do this.
No, don't make them do that.
I want to know an
actual fight.
I want an actual fight.
I got it.
That was
Good.
quick.
Hell, now they're gonna fight. Like, wait a minute, that was too quick.
Yeah.
What happened in Mexico?
Yeah, you had a couple of tantrums.
Oh, I had a tantrum. That's what he calls it.
I like the way it's like, yeah, it's your problem. I like good strong move.
Are we fighting or were you just not listening?
I don't know. You did get in a bit of a tantrum. You walked off.
I did walk away.
Well, why?
I didn't. It's not storming away as you would think. I just stayed at the bottom of the slide because
Being stubborn.
I was being stubborn. I stayed at the bottom of the water slide because I was like, this has not been filmed properly. You need to come back down those stairs and we're going to do this again. And he was like, no, I'm going on the slide. And I was like, come down the stairs. And I was like, fine, I'm going to stay down here. And he goes, so? And he starts walking up.
She wanted it filmed. She wanted this video of us going up the stairs to the water slide and then coming down this water slide. But it was so high up and we was probably about halfway up. And she was like, it's not been filmed properly. You haven't done it right. And I was like, how can I not video us walking up the stairs to a water slide? Like, how can I not film that right? She starts walking back down the stairs and I'm like, I'm not walking halfway back down these stairs to refilm us walking up the stairs to the top of the water slide.
So he stayed halfway up and I stayed at the bottom. And you see the camera come over the stairs to film me at the bottom, just standing there. And he goes, she's throwing a tantrum. And so then I pretend to throw a tantrum and then this family walks behind me and I was like, now I'm embarrassed. I have to walk up the stairs. But I think that's the
This is the lamest fight I've ever heard of in my life.
I can relate so hard to this fight though.
But
Instagram fights are real.
I mean,
do you know how many times I've gotten mad at Andy? I'm like, you're not taking this photo taking seriously.
I feel you, James. We're in the same boat. We're the Instagram guys. I know your pain.
Yeah.
And I've been there many times. I've probably gotten much more angry than you did in that scenario many times.
It's funny now, but in the moment, it's the worst part is he thinks it's so funny. He's like, I'm not going. I'm like, I need the video. So you are coming down here. And he's like, nah. And he'll just keep going. And I'm like, all right.
Well,
Okay.
the thing is, the process is so stupid, but in the end, it's better that you have it. So I've come to the understanding that even though it's terrible to do it, the end product is worth it.
The end product
For
is,
you or us or whoever, generally speaking.
sometimes we bicker about being late, but I think we're just pointing fingers because we're both almost equally as late.
Okay, so you guys don't fight, basically. Is what
Or you fight about stupid shit.
You don't. You like have little silly bickers, and that's it. There's no real legitimate fighting.
I wound you up the other day, didn't I? Katie just bought a new car.
Oh, you wanted her up, eh?
Katie just bought a new car. I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, the Tesla.
Oh God, not a flex.
And it's sort of like day 2 in, and we were driving along, and I'd just been to play football. Katie comes to pick me up. So obviously my feet aren't smelling the best. I take my socks off. We sat there driving along, so I just put my feet up on the lever just to see if I could get a reaction. And then I saw her looking a couple of times. I could see she was holding it in. So then I took it a step further and just put my feet on the glass and started.
He put his toes on the glass.
And as soon as I'd done that, that was nearly an argument.
What did I say?
She just looked at me with a red face and was like, "Are you joking?"
I said, "Are you gonna tow my windshield?" And he was like, "I was waiting," and I was like, "I'm proud of myself for holding it in, but we're not towing the windshield."
Wow.
Those are cute fights.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Those are just cute.
Okay, now I have to go now into like anthology. Have you guys ever had real fights with significant others?
Andy loves talking about fighting.
Yeah, we have to literally predate your relationship to get a decent
have
fight.
I ever had fights in general?
Soundbite here. Yeah. Have you fought? Okay, so you have fought with past boyfriends, big time.
Yeah.
And you have fought with past relationship?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is different.
I've definitely thought. I think we are.
Maybe it's too early. Let's have an interview.
Nah. You're 9 months in? You're 9 months in.
Yeah, and they're long distance.
How much time have you actually spent like really together of those 9 months?
We've spent 1 month, 2 months. Then we've only spent really almost 3.5 months. So we need more time because also.
Oh my God, they may be pre-fighting.
Oh yeah. Well, also like we're right in the moment right now. We're not fighting at the moment, but we're in the mix right now of figuring out our balance while living together. Like what is the balance? Because in England, it was quite the fairy tale because it's 8 hours ahead. Nobody's emailing me, calling me, texting me until 2 p.m. So I'm doing all my work that needs to get done. 2 p.m. comes around. He comes home from football. We're having lunch. Then I'm like, I get to just answer things. Like I'm not reacting here. The East Coast is up 3 hours before me. Everything's a little bit of a reaction. I feel like it's not as laid back here. So we've definitely been figuring out, I guess, the balance of things, but which is sometimes causes like a little tension, but not fights. Mm-hmm. And I typically say it almost right away. I'm like, I feel like I need to just, I don't know, I'll just kind of say how I'm feeling all the time.
I picture you being that kind of person. And I'm the same way. I picture you just sort of immediately being like, this bothered me. Like you don't stew, I feel like.
I don't stew. I stew for like a little bit because I try and think, can I just get over this myself real quick? Mm-hmm. And like, can I just pocket this? And then if I can't pocket it, I'm like, I got to talk about something.
Yeah.
This is bothering me.
I relate hard to that. Okay, so the little bickerings you do have, which sound very inconsequential, endearingly inconsequential. Yeah. Would you say you resolve them then by laughing about it, laughing at yourselves, or how do you typically resolve it and move forward?
We laugh about it, but then we like talk about it. So we laugh if we bicker about like, let's say one thing, maybe a few too many times, like now that we're getting into the balance of thing, like the dishes or whatever, we'll be like, okay, how are we going to kind of go about this? Like if I cook, can you clean? And if you cook, then I'll clean, or do we want to do both together? Like we're kind of like still figuring that out now that every time like we live in a different place. it's just like once we bicker about something, like maybe once, or I'm like, could you have done the dishes? I cleaned or something, or I cooked. Then it's like, okay, so now here's the expectations we're setting. So we kind of then set expectations so that we don't bicker too much about the same thing.
That's huge.
Nice. Oh, you guys are so reasonable and emotionally balanced.
I mean, that's what it's all about. You want to not have the same fight over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Otherwise, what's the point? You're just on a hamster wheel.
That would get really old.
Right? That's the most important thing. There's nothing wrong with fighting. It's going to happen, but...
Fight about new things.
Fight about new things.
Yeah.
Fight about
topics.
Yeah.
Much more exciting.
Keep the fighting fresh.
Yes.
All right. So, James, obviously, you're from the UK. Have there been any cultural differences you two have encountered? And they can be serious or funny.
Culturally, we do say a lot of things that are
we
different.
say a lot of different things. And
Like pants. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk
Trousers,
about that.
pants.
okay, there's a lot of different words and different sort of sayings and stuff that are quite different, and I get quite confused sometimes, like that. Like Katie will say, like, "What pants are you wearing tonight?"
It means underwear.
Why does it matter what underwear I'm wearing?
There's a lot of
Knickers.
different, like, individual words, but then there's also I feel like a few phrases culturally. I think, or I've noticed. I can't speak for an entire population, but all the younger friends that you have seem to be much more mature than any American people.
Thank you.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. Not that there was a right or wrong answer to that.
Like his friends that are like soccer players, footballers that are like 20 years old. I thought they were like 26, 27 maybe, because they were like, yeah, I'm looking, my missus, first of all, calling their girlfriends missus. He's like, my missus, we're looking for a flat right now. I'm like, oh yeah. And you guys, he's like, yeah, taking it very seriously. I'm like, oh yeah, how old are you? Like 20. It's like everyone's like 20 to 23 and like very mature. Much more mature for the age than I would say compared to Americans, or at least the Americans I've always met.
Well, I've always said many times on this podcast that American men don't actually reach manhood until 36. So don't date any American men under 36 is my advice.
I believe that.
And actually, so half of this podcast is us giving relationship advice when people either write in or call in. And we even once got an email from Zach, who was around 24, 25. And just based on the email, Andy was like, I don't think this guy's American. And he was indeed from the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a distinct maturity level, and I don't know why.
Me neither, but there is a distinct maturity level. And I noticed that he would say, oh, the young lads. I'm like, which one of them is young? All of them seemed so mature to me. And they were just mature young guys.
It just depends on the people that. There's a lot of immature people that are
That's
similar.
true.
I think it's just you can't speak for the whole nation. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I suppose that's true.
Okay.
So reasonable.
I know. No,
I mean, I
statements.
could just say that all men of both Europe and America under 36, you might have to be cautious about if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I have one last question, and then we'll get to the game. Any beliefs about relationships that have changed now that you have this one?
Well, one thing kind of goes back to fighting. Like, fighting doesn't always have to look like fighting. It can just be a conversation.
Totally.
A little bit of tension behind it if you'd like, but it doesn't have to be a fight. Like yelling, screaming fight.
That's a great answer, actually.
Yep.
So that I think has changed, because some people are like, yeah, we fight. It's like, yeah, the how do you fight type of thing.
Where I've come from, because like growing up being a footballer, like a soccer player, you guys would say, it's almost always seemed to be like the guy is always looking for the person who looks the best on their arm to take to a game. This might sound stupid, or to be seen in public with, or stuff like that. I'm not saying that's not you, because you do look great on the arm.
I was like, where's this going?
Yeah. I was also wondering where this was
I
going.
started looking down at my hand for the next time to watch.
No, but like I feel like we've built a connection where we're almost like best friends. Like instead of just being like looking good together and stuff like that, it's like building memories together and like just
Having fun.
and it's, I mean, maybe that's just normal for everyone else. But for me, before I've come from a mindset of growing up with people who are more like aesthetic.
Yeah, no, that's very, very honest and very poignant.
Yeah, that's a great answer. You know what I love is that's an honest answer.
Well, that's what I'm blatantly honest.
Yeah, brutally honest.
Brutally, that's right.
Yeah.
Not blatantly.
It's
They were
also
looking for a
blatantly.
hottie,
I
but they
guess.
got a hottie with a brain.
Yeah,
Yeah, a hottie with a brain who they actually want to hang out with.
yeah.
What do you know?
It exists.
Yeah.
Loved those answers. You guys are giving
That's good
knockout
answers.
answers. I just want to
Good
make sure you
answers.
know that.
Yeah.
Okay, it is now time for the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game. Yay! You guys were. You know what I liked is the amount of thought these two
A
put into
lot
their.
of thought.
Yes, you guys. We said take your time, and you obliged.
They understand that the Newlyweds Game is not a laughing matter.
Oh
It's
no!
serious business.
Yes, they really thought about it, especially James with the food.
Oh yeah.
All right, question number 1. Who should we start with?
Oh, by the way, my prediction:
Oh,
2-1 James.
all right. Andy likes to predict.
Okay. Well,
He's been right 2 out of 3 times.
Okay,
those are good odds.
it's not bad odds.
Okay, let's choose our Brit to start. James,
I agree.
if you could have one superpower, what would it be, James? And show the camera when you tell us.
Oh, okay, I'd like to be able to fly.
Good
Oh,
answer. Katie, what did you say for James? Did you get that right?
Fly.
Wow.
Nice. Very good. Katie, you got a point.
Oh,
Nice.
whoa, that's fly.
Katie, what did you say to that same answer? What would you choose?
Invisible.
Oh, that's a good one. James,
nice.
did you get that right?
Craft.
I'm too nosy to not be invisible.
I actually could fly for Katie as well.
Oh, you did?
I thought she might want to fly with me.
Well, you can just take me as a piggyback.
Aw.
Okay. James, you did not get a point. I'm sorry.
Now you've got a sweep to make my prediction come true.
What's wrong with
Problem.
invisible?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
You
Why
can
not?
eavesdrop.
I feel like you'd find out a lot
the
of stuff
amount of
you wouldn't
eavesdropping. No, but you'd find out a lot of stuff you need to know.
You could sneak into places.
Yeah, and if you get in trouble, you're just gone. No one can get you.
Yeah, I like it.
Oops. Disappeared.
No, I see the value in the invisibility, Katie. I respect that choice.
I do too.
Imagine you could even go up to monuments and things that are closed and then just be invisible.
Yeah, or just steal huge amounts of money. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
didn't even think of that.
You didn't think of that? Come on. It's like the number one reason you're invisible.
Yeah, that's true,
The
yeah.
other stuff is great, but being rich is good too.
Shoot, you're right. Invisible. I'll stand by it.
Question number 2, James. What is your favorite smell? Katie's
Katie's
perfume.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
It gets me.
You're trying to win brownie points, but I have a feeling you're not going to win actual points.
Katie, did you get that right?
I crossed out a few. Dang. I actually put Byredo Gypsy Water. He loves smells.
I do like that, yeah.
He loves all smells. At one point, I put 5 colognes at once.
I do love a good smell.
I sometimes I'm like, stop drowning bear. He's got allergies.
Yeah.
That's actually a super cute answer, but I don't think.
No, we cannot give you a point.
Yeah. But that was both cute answers. Katie, what's your favorite smell?
Louis Vuitton Ombre Nuit, or the smell of a sun shower in Florida, like when it's hot out and the sun's out, but it's raining. The concrete is like hot, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
ground gets wet from the rain. It smells so nice to me.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Floridian right here, correct?
Ions.
Yeah, ions. James, did you get that?
I didn't get the Florida shower, but I got the perfume, the aftershave.
Oh, wow.
LV.
Wow. Oh my God. Very
Bravo,
good.
bravo.
1-1. Impressive. Question number 3, James. It's your last meal. It's your last meal on Earth. What do you order?
Now you've just said this is your last meal on Earth. You sound ridiculous.
Go ahead, say it. Tell the world.
Chicken thighs.
Wait, what?
Chicken thighs.
Chicken thighs. And
Chicken
thighs and Italian pasta.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Italian pasta?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Which one? Which
Yeah, that's
pasta?
like saying like human food. Like what is that?
Say a pasta, James.
So no, what I mean is like go to a nice Italian restaurant and order a real good pasta. I'm not too sure which one at the moment. Maybe a carbonara.
Okay, that's good. My turn.
All right. Oh,
He's
okay.
easy to please as
He's
long
easy
as
to
it's
please.
Italian
Okay.
pasta. All right, Katie, did you
And
get
chicken thighs prepared in any way, or just any the raw chicken thigh, or
chicken thighs, they can just come on the side.
I love that the chicken thighs are the side. They're not even the main dish.
Yeah, I know. Right. So a pasta with a chicken next to it. Got it. Okay. Katie, what about
Katie,
you?
what did you guess for
I
James?
put a roast dinner and a carbonara for James.
All right, she gets that point.
I mean,
Because he even said maybe a carbonara.
yeah, no, I'll give it. And you did well.
Yeah, let's see that one more time.
You did
I just
well,
want to
but,
catch that one more
just a little
time.
bit of a
Roast
caveat
dinner,
there.
carbonara. All right. That's a
you
point.
get that.
She gets
You got
that point.
Yay. I said, what kind of pasta? And he said, I don't know, a carbonara maybe. I said, stop.
No. I don't think we gave enough weight to that. That was
that's
she did
true.
get
Oh,
the
it's
carbonara, and
crazy.
he did say that.
It's crazy.
After
Yes.
saying Italian pasta.
Oh, we're
which
good.
I'm glad you specified, because I thought you were talking about Malaysian pasta. And then anyway. So next question.
Oh dear.
All right, Katie. It's your last meal on Earth. What do you order?
You guys, I said, I'm going to have a buffet. So
Now I know why it took you an hour to answer this question.
I'll have
Is that like the entire menu at Applebee's? What is that?
This is basically the Cheesecake Factory. So lobster with butter, sushi, Wagyu pieces, fish and chips with mushy peas, pot roast, pistachio ice cream, water. Don't forget water because I'm going to need some to get this down. And then chips and guacamole.
Wow. Do you need a bucket to barf in after this meal? Like what's
I just need a buffet so I can have like a little bit of
a little bit of each? Okay, I got you.
And just hold it for the camera just for 1 second. Wow.
That's a lot.
I think
of
this
food.
might be the most relatable answer.
I mean,
to
that's a
this
great
question.
mean if you really are hungry.
I mean, it's last meal.
But you want to have the buffet so that at the meal, when the meal comes, you're like, ooh, I'm actually feeling a little bit more of this than this today.
Totally. Oh, I get it.
Right.
I get it.
That's more of a meal you would desire after escaping from a POW camp as opposed to your last meal. But
Yeah.
that's just semantics.
I respect the answer. Very relatable.
Yeah, I do too.
Basically,
Very
you
nice.
put down everything you like.
Everything you want.
James.
And people do that on death row. They almost do it like, to make a point. They order like 70 things and they have to give it to them. That's the law.
James.
Yeah.
James, did you get that?
So I got fish and chips, sushi. I wrote chips down, which is your type of chips, which is, I guess, chip and guac, but I actually crossed it out. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I put shepherd's pie as well, because you love that when you come to England.
Wow. Let's see it. Make sure you're not lying.
Very nice.
Wow.
2-2.
That is impressive.
Very good.
That is impressive.
Very good. What was your guess again?
I thought James is going to win 2-1, so that's out the
you
window.
underestimated.
Yeah.
All right. We're only on question 4, and you guys are killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Question 4, James. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah. I think yeah.
He's living his dreams.
He's living his dream. That's
I love
nice.
that.
It's very rare.
It is rare.
Yeah.
Okay, Katie, did you get that?
She's going to get it.
Damn.
Yeah.
And she even said footballer.
Yeah.
She didn't say soccer player.
Yep. Footballer.
She's dating a Brit. I mean,
Very nice. Wow, you guys are really doing well.
yeah, this is wow. 3-2. That's
Katie.
good.
Katie, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I put dancer mainly, and then doctor, comedian.
James, did you get that?
I went for dancer, and I actually put singer as well, but that was just real token.
Very nice.
Wow.
You each got a point. 3-3, neck and neck.
Wow.
Are you doing better or worse than you expected?
Better.
Better.
Okay. Question number 5. James.
Yep.
If you could only listen to one musician, band, or composer for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Drake.
Damn.
Canadian, I'm just saying. Does anyone care? It's very Canadian to point out other Canadians.
It's true.
Katie, did you get that correct?
I knew that, but now I know I'm wrong. Ed Sheeran.
Oh, that was a more practical guess. But incorrect. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Good guess. I mean, I did think about it.
Katie, if you could only listen to one musician, band, or composer for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Since I can't do a genre, I put Taylor Swift, if not classical or 70s.
I guess.
Classical music,
dot.
Classical or 70s? Like classical music or 70s music?
Classical music or 70s music.
So
in my
Taylor
genre.
Swift, the whole genre of classical music or 70s music?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to see what he
No,
says.
but that's
Taylor
why I said Taylor Swift, because I couldn't pick a genre or a time period.
Okay.
James, did you get that?
A lot to work with there.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got it. Wow.
Holy
Guys,
cow.
we're blown away. You've done better than some couples that have been together for a lot longer.
I think that's the best cumulative score that's tied for the best.
It's tied for the
cumulative.
best score ever gotten.
Yeah.
Wow, there we go. Setting records.
I mean, that's that cannot be underestimated. They've only been together for 9 months and long distance.
You know what it shows? Is the communication. When you are long distance and all you can do is talk to connect. That's crazy, actually.
Wow.
That's really cool. You guys, James, you are the winner of the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game.
I got the spread, but really screwed up the point score.
Yeah. You really underestimated them.
I did. I thought you guys had a really good foundation in your relationship. I just thought that the amount of time you'd been together, particularly since you were long distance, would hurt your scores here. But you guys really came through. Very impressed.
You guys, we'll set you free now. You were just such wonderful guests. Thank you so much for spending the Wednesday.
Pleasure.
Thank you guys for having us on. I'm so glad we finally got to meet, kind of.
Likewise.
James will have to go to New York soon because he's never seen New York. So when we're there, we'll give you a ring.
Oh, is that where you live in New York?
Yeah, come.
Wow, cool. I've never been.
We can have Italian pasta. There's the best Italian pasta in the world here.
Oh, no, we do Katie's buffet because there's a lot more food there.
Okay. Yes.
Better selection.
True.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you. You were wonderful.
You as well. Thanks, guys.
You too.
Lovely meeting you.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, they were lovely.
Lovely.
How cute were they?
I wonder if it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy that our love fests are always going to be couples that are so comfortable with each other that they're willing to expose themselves on a love fest.
Oh, you mean the couples that won't come on are afraid to expose themselves?
Yes.
Are you once again challenging couples who will not come on?
Subtly.
They were great. How cute were they? I am blown away by their Newlyweds Game performance.
That was really impressive.
It really showed what being long distance can do. Everyone thinks of a long distance relationship as
all you have is talk, is communication.
Yes.
Just talking.
Yeah. There's no just sort of being in the same place at the same time. The time together is intentional. It's actually I found that really interesting because I will admit, I don't know if I thought they were going to necessarily do poorly. I just, I didn't put a ton of stock in it because I was like, oh, well, it's a young relationship, entirely long distance. That's actually nuts. I don't know if That's like landing really hard with me, actually.
Oh, me too. It's incredible. That's tied for the most points cumulatively scored by a couple.
Yes. So it goes to show that a long distance relationship
might actually be a better, stronger foundation than not a long distance.
Well, I do think there's actually a good argument for that, because you have to be, again, more intentional in everything you do. You are working so much harder from a logistical standpoint to be in a relationship together with an 8-hour time difference. Every day is effort.
It's like anything you pursue that involves an enormous amount of struggle, you're probably going to be better at that thing or appreciate it more in the end than if it was easy.
They were cute.
Super cute.
He was a real sweetheart.
Yeah. He's as he himself said, he's laid back to the point of almost being dead, but in a good way.
Yeah, actually, you know what's funny is when we started, I was kind of like frazzled because it's just been sort of a stressful day and a lot has been going on. And then we kind of just dove into this love fest and I was like, la, 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 la. And something about their vibe, especially his, because he thinks before he speaks, his pacing of his speech, and her too, honestly. I calmed down in their presence.
You know what it is? There's negative nervous energy.
The opposite of nervous energy.
Yeah. It was a vacuum of nervous energy.
That was like a calming, lovely experience for me, honestly. I needed that.
I agree. It almost put me to sleep in the best of ways. In the best of ways.
All right. Do you feel like we can wrap there on this love fest? Another love fest in the books. Cute couple.
Cute. And I think that one has legs.
I agree. I see it. I believe in them. If you guys enjoyed what you heard today, you can keep Dear Shandy in business by liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, following us on Instagram, telling your friends, leaving us iTunes ratings and reviews, and generally doing all the things that you would do to keep a podcast that you enjoy in business. And on that note, I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this Love Fest episode of Dear Shandy, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Dear Shandy.